What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I'm CTigirsGaming, and we finally got the block that was promised to us from last week by Infinity Ward. And let me tell you, there are some major changes coming. If you guys are excited for the future of Modern Warfare 2, make sure to see for that like button. For 15 Call of Duty, make sure to subscribe, turn on notification bell and join notification squad. Without further ado, let's go right to it. They start the block by the global changes. Global changes simply means that these are changes that will be happening throughout the whole game in general. These changes are not specific to only multiplayer, DMZ or Warzone 2. No, these changes are for the whole game in general. First of all, they mention crashes and stability. They say we remain dedicated to improving the overall stability and performance of our games, including reduced crashes across all platforms and titles. And as always, that's always amazing. You never want to play a game that is pretty much unplayable because of all the crashes and stability issues. That is absolutely terrible. Next up, we have some audio issues, and this one is mainly for PC. They say data suggests that some PC players may be experiencing audio issues due to discrepancies in the number of channels they are outputting. They've also added an option to force PC to stereo output. Then they go and say investigation into player reports regarding audio led us to identifying a previous unknown issue impacting occlusion across the game. Audio occlusion is simply a filter that is applied based on the type of material that an object or structure is composed of, primarily based on its thickness and how it blocks the full frequency of the sound. They say that audio occlusion should only apply for the large structural objects, but for whatever reason it's also applying for the small items, and that should not be the case, which is causing it to be broken, and now they fixed that as well. Next up, we have the UI changes, and let me tell you, this is long overdue. In my opinion, we need an overhaul for the UI, but let's be honest, that is very unlikely to happen. But hopefully with these changes, it should make it a bit easier to navigate through it and not confuse ourselves, because there are 1255 pages to go through just to change our weapon. In the blog, they say a number of user interface and user experience updates are coming to season 2 to improve overall flow of in-game menus. These updates include improved navigation and organization of the camo menu. To be honest with you guys, I thought the camo menu were okay, but there's nothing wrong with improving that even more. More polished social tab, including improved channel swapping and player muring. New My Bundle screen, that's awesome. We had it in Black Ops Cold War and now it's returning. Quick equip items from the Battle Pass, My Bundles and store, that is awesome as well. Reticle previews in store and the Gunsmith. Improved clarity of attachments blocking logic in Gunsmith, that is much needed. And many more bug fixes to come. They've also recently introduced a fix that restored instant speed of recent players in menu and the status refresh of friends. Alongside all of that, they've also improved after action report with audio. That is much needed, because right now all the after action report shows you is just the scoreboard, and that is terrible. We need it to be more detailed. They've added a play again feature in Battle Royale, and they've also fixed some bugs for inconsistencies between challengers, Battle Pass and weapon progression. And to finish off the global changes, they've also promised us some weapon balancing to be coming in season 2. Now let's move on to the mode specific updates. Let's start off with multiplayer first. For the audio, Infinity Ward will be updating the current occlusion audio to the newer and more advanced system. Next up, we have some perk balancing. They say we have heard a lot of feedback around the timing of the bonus perks, especially the ghost perk. We looked at swapping this perk's position, but we felt this would create severe imbalance in the perk system. For season 2, we've updated the rate at which the bonus and the ultimate perks are earned. They've reduced the bonus perk by 50% and the ultimate perk by 25%. Simply, you will earn the bonus and the ultimate perk much faster. We move on to the weapon balancing, and like they said earlier in the blog, expect some weapon balancing in season 2. Next up, we have the return of the original hardcore game mode. Yes, it is finally back. However, it will be replacing tier 1 mode. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, that's not very amazing, because I would much rather have hardcore mode and tier 1 mode both exist at the same time. Unfortunately, that's not the case, but let's just hope that this is not the complete removal of tier 1 mode. Hopefully they can swap between tier 1 and hardcore mode every so often. We move on to the playlist, and Infinity Ward says our Valentine's Day playlist will return. Stay tuned. They'll also be detailing the multiplayer modes coming to season 2 in the coming weeks. And finally, this is amazing, 1 week per month, Infinity Ward will be creating a Twitter poll for fans to vote on one of that week's playlists from a rotating pool. Infinity Ward actually did that for the first time about 2 days ago, when they created a Twitter poll saying, do you guys want to see Shoot House, Shipment or Shoot the Ship return in this week's playlist? So that is amazing. In my opinion, more of these things need to happen. They need to involve the community a lot more. And finally, for multiplayer, they said that rank play will be coming, led by Treyarch in season 2. Now let's move on to the DMZ updates, and the first thing that will happen will be enemy tuning. As you guys know, currently in DMZ the AI enemies are way too overpowered. It is ridiculous. And in season 2, Infinity Ward will introduce a number of balance changes to adjust the types of AI spawning, the number of AI spawning, and the accuracy of AI at range, and much more. So basically the AI enemy in DMZ won't be as overpowered as they currently are. We move on to the spawn points in DMZ, and in season 2 they will be adjusted as well. In the blog they say we are tuning some of the infill points across Al Mazrah for improved early match experience based on gameplay data. Starting at a point where you are isolated or without loot and contract opportunities is not the best experience, so they will be tweaking the spawn points to make them a lot better. Alongside that, there'll also be some mission difficulty tuning. Infinity Ward says data and feedback reinforced that the faction mission difficulty ramp was way too aggressive for many players, and that the demand and scale ultimately made it very challenging to unlock the second ensured weapon slot by completing all tier 3 missions in season 1. They have adjusted the overall scaling of difficulty in missions as the tier progresses. However, keep in mind the later tier missions will still be quite challenging even for the experienced operator. They say we know crashes are especially impactful in DMZ if you lose your items and contraband weapons as a result. That is terrible, so they are working to address those crashes and hopefully eliminate them from DMZ. Alongside all of that, there will also be some seasonal refresh. All new missions are coming season 2, including a refresh of your current faction mission progress and an inventory, contraband and keys reset. We will learn more in the season 2 blog. And finally, for DMZ there will be a new location with a new exclusion zone coming season 2. Players will have a third option to choose from when deploying in DMZ. The faction mission refresh will provide new missions that send you across these destinations, including building 21. We suggest you and your squad gear up for infiltration first. Now let's move on to the Warzone 2 updates, and let me tell you from now, these are not new updates at all. Infinity Ward are simply bringing back the features that made Warzone 1 amazing in Warzone 2, and in my opinion they should have never been changed in the first place. First of all, as we already know, it was confirmed a couple days ago by Infinity Ward themselves, the 1v1 Gulag will be returning with season 2 with the original Warzone overtime mechanic of the capture the flag point, and they'll also be removing the jailer. To fit the new 1v1 Gulag, the current map will be updated, and they are also working on dedicated 1v1 map for future season for the Gulag. Alongside all of that, they've also made some logistical changes for the Gulag experience. Ground loot has been revisited, as well as the loadouts that players will spawn in with. We've updated the pool to include assault rifles, submachine guns and light machine guns as primary weapons. As the circles progress, shotguns have been removed from the rotation, while handguns will remain available as secondary weapons. Also, winning the Gulag will now grant you a larger cash reward to help prepare yourself much faster after redeploying. Moving on, we also have the cash economy in Warzone 2. In season 2 they will be balancing the battle royale economy with a slight reduction to cash rewards for completing contracts. Additionally, we are increasing the lowest value of cash piles from ground loot to 800 and from cash registers to 500, previously 100 minimum. In addition to this, cash can be acquired via ground loot, containers and white stronghold supply boxes throughout Al Mazrah, but can no longer be found in basic and legendary supply boxes. Okay, that is quite interesting if I say so myself. Also, there will be changes to the loot and inventory in Warzone 2. As announced last week, we're shifting away from the loot windows / menus to floating loot that will now drop out of all the containers in the world, similar to loot from supply boxes. We were excited to see the new backpack system give players the agency to customize their inventory for a desired playstyle or role within a squad. In our continued effort to balance engagements, medium and large backpacks will no longer be available, and eliminated players will drop loot onto the ground rather than loot filled backpacks. Okay, so that is pretty much them saying that we have removed backpacks, which was a weird addition if I say so myself. Every player will now have the same backpack throughout the entire game. Next up, we have the loadout changes. Season 2 will introduce a customizable perk packages. Finally, customizable perk packages are in Warzone 2. However, keep in mind this feature will launch with a slightly reduced pool of available perks, which Infinity Ward will slowly reintroduce over time as new seasons releases. Also, primary weapons will continue to be available at the buy stations alongside the loadout drop markers. The price of loadout drop markers has been slightly reduced so that respective squad sizes can acquire their full loadouts at a faster pace. Alongside all of that, there has also been some additional changes. 3-plate vests are also back. No longer you need to be looking around the map to find different sizes of vests. Everybody will start with 3-plate vests, which means as long as you have armor, you can fully armor up just like in Warzone 1, and that is absolutely amazing. In terms of movement, in Season 2, players will be able to bust through doors while plating the way they would if they were sprinting. Again, this is another good change that the community were asking for, and they have finally listened and brought it back. We move on to the buy stations. They say in order to make buy stations and their goods easier to access, we've revamped our approach. Spawn locations have been added / adjusted. Spawns will be static across the map, and loadout drop markers have unlimited stock at all stations. And finally, for Warzone 2, there have been updates for strongholds. Infinity Ward says that strongholds provide an alternative gameplay experience with high payoff for those willing to tackle the objective, and they are committed to providing a balanced engagement engagements for players who choose to enter strongholds. Season 2 will bring changes to the rewards players receive from strongholds and black site completion, as well as additional adjustments to AI combatant damage. Okay, if I'm being honest with you guys, there are plenty of changes in Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer, Warzone 2, DMZ. There are a lot of much needed updates in my opinion, and let's just hope that all of these updates they do actually get implemented in Season 2 and this game can be turned around, because like I've been saying, Modern Warfare 2, Warzone 2, DMZ, they all have so much potential. Unfortunately, as it is right now, they are not reaching their full potential, but hopefully with these much needed updates in Season 2, hopefully they can turn it around and make Modern Warfare 2 one of the best games in recent years. But of course, only time will tell. We'll just have to wait and see what happens in the upcoming weeks and months. And as I learn more, I'll keep you guys updated as well. But with all that being said, thank you guys for seeing this video. If you enjoyed it and are excited for the future of Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2, make sure to see for the like button. For 15 Call of Duty, make sure to subscribe, turn on notification bell and join notification squad, and I'll catch you guys later.